This is definitely not the best price to performance gaming PC you can build, and the reason for that is, inside this machine we find one of the world's fastest 6-core CPUs, the Ryzen 5 7600X, and in today's video we're going to benchmark this with the RTX 3060, one of Nvidia's most popular 1080p GPUs, to see if it's a killer combo worth considering. Now, if you want to build an affordable Zen 4 X670 Ryzen 7000 gaming PC right now, this is how I would do it. But to be real with you guys, if you want to build something affordable and really maximize the price to performance, this won't be the PC to build. In fact, I'm going to show you guys why you should actually reconsider the Ryzen 7000, at least for now. Down below you find exact time codes for each section of the video, and if you want to jump right over to the benchmarking part, you find time codes for that on screen now. Now, before we go ahead and take a look at some real in-depth benchmarks, if you're thinking of building this PC, I do want to spend some time and quickly go over each PC part I used for this benchmark, and of course I have all PC parts listed down below with some cheaper alternatives as well. So starting off with the CPU, this here is the brand new Ryzen 5 7600X, a 6-core 12-thread processor based on AMD's latest Zen 4 architecture, featuring some blazing fast clock speeds, eliminating any kind of microstutter or lag. Now, obviously coming in at $300, considering its specifications, kinda makes the 7600X rather pricey. I mean, there are far cheaper CPUs that perform just great if your goal is to game at 1080p and 1440p. But if you want to include a 7000 Ryzen CPU in your build, this is right now the best bang for your buck option. Now, just to show you guys what I mean, here is a comparison between one of Intel's cheapest 4-core 8-thread part side by side with the 7600X, and as we can see, there is barely any difference between the two, and that is simply because in most games the graphics card is the one doing the heavy lifting, but we'll get back to this in a second. Let's jump right back to the PC parts, and for the motherboard I went for the ASRock X670E PG Lightning because it was one of the cheapest X670 options available. The only way to build a Ryzen 7000 PC build is with an X670 board, and these are hella expensive. Now luckily B-series boards are just around the corner, and I will make sure to make a PC build including some of the best price to performance motherboards as well. Anyway, this is a great motherboard, packing everything you can possibly ask for, but again, X670 boards are unfortunately too expensive and kind of kills the excitement around AMD's new CPUs. Next up we have RAM, and here I'm going for the best budget kit I was able to get my hands on, the Kingston Fury HyperX 2x8 non-RGB. Jumping right over to the SSD, and here I'm going for the best affordable option I could find, the Kingston MV1. Now, if you are looking for a solid M2 drive spending as little as possible, you won't go wrong with this one. And best of all, it comes from a quality brand that has been making SSDs for years and years. For our power supply unit, I went for this budget semi-modular 650 watt unit from the quality brand Corsair. Now, normally when putting together a PC build priced above the $1000 mark, I would recommend aiming for a more expensive high-quality PSU like the RM series or the Supernova lineup from VGA with at least 80+ gold certification. That being said, after been building countless of PCs using the CX650M with great success, this bad boy has been through a lot, so therefore I'm actually more than happy to recommend it even for slightly more expensive PC builds as well. Now finally, let's talk about the case choice. So I ended up picking the NZXT H510 Flow because of a few reasons. I wanted something black and white to match the rest of the build with at least decent airflow to handle the 7600X, which we know from benchmarking does generate quite a lot of heat. Now out of nowhere I came to think about the flow from NZXT, and honestly I couldn't be more happy once I saw the end result. I had such a fun experience building in this, and coming in at $89 isn't that expensive either. Now obviously you can go for something a little bit cheaper if you'd like, but honestly I've been having a hard time finding good alternatives that offer similar airflow, build quality, whilst being cheaper. Now lastly, another component we also need to talk about is the CPU cooler. Unlike previous mid-range Ryzen CPUs, AMD does not include any cooler with their CPUs any longer, which definitely is a bummer, especially if you like to build something dirt cheap. Thankfully there are lots of great coolers out there that can definitely add to the aesthetic of the build. I wanted to stick to the black and white theme, so I ended up with the eSports 34 Duo from RTX, and I couldn't be more happy with the end result. And for the temperatures, stick around for the benchmark. Now for the graphics card, I picked up the RTX 3060, which nowadays can be had for as low as $379. And while we still haven't reached MSRP levels, this is, as far as I know, the cheapest I've seen the 3060 sell for. With that said, let's jump over to the benchmark and find out what the RTX 3060 and the Ryzen 7600X combo is capable of. So for our first game we got Spider-Man with DLSS set to balance, and everything turned up to very high. We're getting about 138 FPS at 1080p, while at 1440p we're getting about 117 FPS. Halo Infinite at high graphics results in about 93 FPS in 1080p, and we managed to stay about the stupid 60 FPS mark at 72 FPS at 1440p. Apex runs with an average of 133 FPS at 1080p high settings and 112 FPS at 1440p. Moving on to Warzone, and we are once again seeing 3 digits, more exactly 105 FPS at 1080p and 80 FPS at 1440p, both running at high settings. Cyberpunk running at 1080p high settings results in 104 FPS and 61 FPS at medium settings at 1440p. I also decided to give Overwatch 2 a go, and here we are able to squeeze out almost 300 FPS at 1080p high settings and over 200 FPS at 1440p. Here is some additional tests showing what this PC is capable of. Now, once again, unless you're specifically looking to play CPU intensive games and workloads, you won't see a massive difference in frame rate between this CPU and a $100 option. Now, I want to hear from you guys. How would you have designed this Ryzen 7000 gaming PC? Now, if you're on a tight budget, check out the videos on screen now or have a look in the description.